My name is Wesley Grant. I was 25 when I got the assignment. It came in a plain envelope, no explanation, no insignia, just my name and a set of coordinates. There was no briefing, no officer waiting, just a bus ride through Montana wilderness, a long dirt road and a gate with no sign. It buzzed open before I could knock. The place looked like a bunker carved into the side of a hill. Steel doors, cameras at every corner, no windows, no guards. Inside, it smelled like disinfectant and cold metal. They called it Site Echo. I wasn't alone. 12 of us were assigned there, all fresh recruits. Nobody knew each other. Nobody asked questions. We were told it was a containment readiness facility, emergency training, biohazard drills. But there were no instructors, no drills. Just corridors, dorm rooms, cameras, and doors that didn't open. My room had a bed bolted to the floor, a desk, and a mirror I couldn't move. At night, I'd hear footsteps in the hall. Always soft. Always stopping when I got close to the door. I told myself it was the others, until one night I checked the hallway. Empty. But the footsteps kept going. We had one common room. No Wi-Fi. No signal. Just static on the TVs and a stack of outdated survival manuals. There were no clocks. We couldn't tell what time it was, or how long we'd been there. Some of the guys made jokes about it, called it Area 51's basement, but nobody laughed for long. Day 6, one of the lights in the east corridor started flickering. Not a big deal, until we realized the flicker was on a rhythm. 3 short bursts. Pause. 3 again. It was Morse. Someone was signaling us from inside the wall. On day 8, Wallace didn't come back from night sweep. His bunk was still made. Boots lined up perfectly. His radio was on his pillow. Battery full, frequency live, but no Wallace. We searched the whole compound. Nothing. That night, around 2 a.m., I woke up to his voice on the intercom. Only, the intercom was never used. We'd never heard it speak. And now it was repeating his voice. The exact same sentence over and over, whispering, "Don't open the doors. It learns." After Wallace vanished, everything changed. There was no alarm, no announcement, just a soft buzz from the ceiling speakers, followed by the sound of every door locking at once. Metal clicking into place, one after another, down the corridors like dominoes falling. No one told us why. We gathered in the mess hall. There were 9 of us now. No one talked much. Private Knox paced nonstop. Harrington kept checking the vents like something was going to crawl out of them. The rest just stared at their trays, food untouched. I remember the sound of the fluorescent light above us, this faint, high-pitched whine, and the fact that someone, I still don't know who, had scratched words into the tabletop. They echo what they eat. We tried the intercom. No response. We tried the emergency door release. Dead. The cameras followed us. Always. Even when we weren't moving. That night I took the 1 a.m. sweep with Knox. We were supposed to check Section C, a storage corridor they said wasn't in use. The hallway felt colder than the rest. Long. Narrow. Every footstep echoed too loud. About halfway down, we passed one of the numbered doors. This one didn't have a keypad, just a small reinforced window. Knox stopped. "Did you see that?" he asked. I looked through the glass. Nothing but darkness. Then, a flicker of movement. A figure, standing still, just out of reach of the light. Unmoving. Head slightly tilted. Knox leaned closer to the glass. That's when it moved. It slammed into the window, hard, fast, like it was waiting. We jumped back. My heart almost stopped. But what froze me wasn't the impact. It was what it said. The thing pressed its face to the glass, pale, almost featureless, and whispered, "Knox, open the door." Same voice, same cadence. Perfect. Knox's name, in Knox's own voice. We ran. Didn't look back. The next morning, 2 more were gone. Harrington and Bishop. No blood, no sign of a struggle, but their radios were left behind, and both were still transmitting. When we played them side by side, we heard the same message, a whisper, Don't open the doors. It learns. And then, over both radios, at the exact same time, our own voices replied. It started with screaming, not over the radio, real screaming, from the south wing. Then came the alarm, not the soft, mechanical hum we'd heard before. This one was violent, glitchy, pulsing through the air like something alive. Breach detected, breach detected. The lights cut out, red strobes kicked on, and the walls started vibrating with the sound of claws scraping metal. Move! Move! Vargas shouted. We were already running. 7 of us, weapons drawn, hearts pounding. We turned the corner toward Sector D, and that's when Knox went down. Something tackled him from the ceiling. We heard his skull crack before he hit the ground. Blood sprayed the wall. The thing that landed on top of him, it looked almost human, but its jaw was dislocated, its arms too long, and it was smiling, with Knox's face. Contact left, I shouted. Bennett opened fire, 3 rounds to the thing's chest. It didn't stop. It screeched in Knox's voice, but layered under it was static, like a broken speaker. Then it lunged. Vargas emptied half a mag into its head before it finally dropped. Knox's voice kept going for another 10 seconds from its mouth, even after it stopped moving. We dragged what was left of ourselves back to the mess hall and flipped every table, bolted every door. Harrington was gone. No one saw what happened to him. Just a blood trail leading toward the elevator shaft, and a shoe, still tied. We were 5 now, and they were inside. The lights flickered once, then they came, fast, out of the vents, under doors, through cracks in the walls, snarling, twitching, screaming our own names. Vargas took one to the chest. It buried a claw through her armor like paper. She coughed blood, laughed, then detonated a frag as they swarmed her. Her body disappeared in a spray of fire and limbs. "Hold them off!" I screamed. Bennett screamed back, but he was already being pulled toward the window, 3 of them dragging him down. He begged. They answered in his own voice, and then they tore his jaw off. I ran, boots slipping in blood, gun empty, ears ringing. I don't know how I got through the bulkhead, but I slammed it shut behind me and hit every damn lock I could reach. Now I'm alone. They're out there, mimicking, scratching, smiling. I hear Vargas's voice, Knox, even mine. Sometimes, I hear them all at once. This place isn't a lab, it's a trap, and we weren't the experiment. We were the food.
I was so close. I could see the exit gate. The emergency tunnel was slick with blood, red alarms flashing like a dying heartbeat. My legs were shaking. I'd been running for what felt like hours, chased by voices that weren't real. Or worse, voices that were. Mine, Vargas, Knox. Calling out to me in my own tone, in perfect mimicry. "Wesley, help. Don't leave us." The last door was open. One of them had forced it. The lock system fried from the inside. There was only silence beyond it. No growling, no whispers, just the sound of wind. Real wind. I stepped through. My boots hit gravel. I was outside. Outside the lab. Mountains in the distance. Stars overhead. Moonlight washing everything in silver. It should have felt like freedom, but I couldn't breathe. Something moved in the shadows ahead. I raised my weapon, hand trembling, but it was too late. It came from behind. A blur, a flash of claws, teeth. I remember falling, the cold hitting my back, my blood soaking into the dirt. I saw my own face leaning over me, smiling. "You made it, Wes," I screamed. Then, nothing. Darkness. Then I opened my eyes. The air smelled different, sharper, like copper and soil. I stood up, slowly, stiffly. The pain was gone. I looked down at my hands. Pale, cracked, fingers too long. And when I breathed in, I could hear voices. Hundreds of them! Not from the outside, from inside my skull. And they all sounded like me. I turned toward the tunnel. Behind me, the lab doors opened. A wave of shadows poured out. Dozens of them, all once human, now smiling, now hungry. I walked with them, calm, not running. We reached the woods. Then the road. Headlights appeared in the distance. A van. Early morning shift workers, 2 of them. I could smell their fear before they saw us. They stopped, rolled down the window. "You guys all right?" I stepped forward, smiled, and in a voice that wasn't mine anymore, I said, "Help us." That's how it started. Not with a bang, not with a virus on the news, but with a mimic and a smile, and a lie.
The outbreak has just begun. If you want more horror like this, brutal, raw, and unforgettable, subscribe to the Grim Tapes. New nightmares every week. You've heard the whispers, now join the scream.